Welcome into Sports with Balls on this beautiful, beautiful Tuesday morning. If you're listening this afternoon or this evening podcast version, welcome into the show. I'm your host, Jeff Michael, as always. Show 297, baby. Woo, 298, 299, 300 coming up, man. That is absolutely wild. Welcome into the show. March 26th, Tuesday, March 26th. Getting ready for a lot of stuff going on. The NFL's ramping up their stuff. We'll get into that in a little bit. But first, we got to thank the people that make this show possible. Today's show brought to you by Christian's Tailgate. Go to christianstailgate.com. Find one near you. Look, guys, you already know March Madness absolutely slammed. Just go find a location near you and get there early, man. The place is absolutely amazing. Food is amazing. Place is just, it rocks. Just go to christianstailgate.com. Find one near you. Diamond Auto Spa, specializing paint protection film, ceramic coatings, and vinyl wraps. Detailing is just the beginning. Get a hold of Austin Bauer. Give him a shout, 346-319-5961. And, of course, Josh Smith over at Modern Home Improvement and Remodeling. 281-949-8925. Exterior, interior, whatever you need done, give Josh a call. His construction company's flat out phenomenal. That's hard to say. Flat out phenomenal. $500 off when you mention SWB. All right, welcome into the show, man. Let's see. Let's go over today's holidays as usual. Today, March 26th, National Spinach Day. Spinach capital of the world. It is in Texas, by the way, for those of y'all didn't know that. Air Max Day. That's pretty incredible. I didn't know there was an Air Max Day. All right. Diabetes Alert Day. Black Marriage Day. Really? The hell is that? I mean, I know what it is, but why is there a day for that? Anyways, whatever. Good Hair Day. Holy Tuesday. Epilepsy Awareness Day. Live Long and Prosper Day. Ha! All right. Make up your own holiday day. That's the one I'm sticking with. Today, if I'm going to make up my own holiday, well, let me save that. I'll save that because I'm going to make up my own holiday today. Screw it. That's what it tells me to do. National, if your name's Landon, National Day. Wayne. Brittany Banks' birthday. Whew. She's easy on the eyes right there. Diana Ross, it's her birthday today. Kenny Chesney. And Steven Tyler from Aerosmith. Happy birthday to that guy, too. All right. That's your national holidays. And, of course, later on, we will get into today's events in sports history. But let's get into today's events in sports as it stands. NFL's got some rule changes. The hip drop tackle is now banned. Well, okay. Let me rephrase this. It is called how did they explain this? It's called the swivel hip drop tackle is now banned. Now, there were 230 of this, and it's basically dragging somebody down with your body weight from behind, from the waist, and landing on them. It's called the swivel hip drop tackle. Now, there were 230 of these last year, resulting in 15 injuries, which is about one a game. So it's not something, 230 sounds outrageous, but it's about one a game. They really want a minute. It is a dangerous play. I don't know how you teach the guys to tackle differently, but I guess they will. They've taught defensive backs how to hit differently. You know, the cracking the guys over the middle. The NFL's changing. And look, they've done a great job so far. It keeps getting more and more popular. So I don't think this is going to be any different. They'll figure this out. They'll teach them how to do this. So hip drop tackle is now banned. 15-yard penalty if you do it. And it'll take a couple years to get letter of the law down, but we'll figure it out. And on top of that, we also have the kickoff change. This is interesting. There were only 23% of kickoffs returned last year. And now you're going to have really, really returnable kicks. The kicker is by himself on the 35-yard line. I think it's the 35. I'll have to look this up. And then you have all the other players. Literally, The kicking team will be lined up on the other 35, so the opposing 35-yard line. They will be lined up there, and then the return team is lined up at the 25 with the 1 or 2 returners behind them. Nobody can move until the ball is caught. So it's interesting. It was adapted in the XFL, or from the XFL, I believe, but it's really interesting. I'm not mad at it. I think it's okay. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, but we have a new kickoff. There will be a ton of returned kickoffs and not as much, I guess, momentum between the players, sort of like just crashing into each other, and injuries. That's what they're trying to avoid, obviously. So it looks entertaining. It looks fun. I'm here for it. So let's see how it goes. New kickoff rule, hip drop rule will take effect. Those are your NFL headlines. Draft is swiftly approaching, so in April we'll start really diving into that. Jim Harbaugh said there might be 1, 2, 3, 4 quarterbacks going. In fact, Jim Harbaugh might have a chance to take his own J.J. McCarthy. Who knows? The draft is going to be wild. I cannot wait. We'll have a draft special on Sports with Balls. And by the way, speaking of the NFL kickoff, if you go to Sports with Balls on your social media outlets, I have posted a video that shows how the new kickoff will look. It shows it being done in the XFL, or I think that Adam Schefter has already posted a video on Twitter. Just go check. You'll see it. It's anywhere. But go to Sports with Balls on all your social medias. Give us a follow. Give us a shout out. That is your NFL rule changes, your major ones, your 2 major rule changes over the last couple of days. The revamp. I don't know which one's bigger, the hip drop or the revamped kickoff, but we'll see. Ohtani. The Ohtani situation is fluid, if you will. He says yesterday he had no idea about the gambling. Okay, so Ohtani had a press conference yesterday. Only one camera was allowed. I think there's some video of it now, but they weren't allowing the entire media in there with the cameras. No questions were allowed to be asked. So he never bet on sports. He shocked his interpreter, stole his money, and he had no idea about the gambling. I don't know. There's this bookie in California that they've been dealing with. This guy's already been under investigation for the last 2 years. It's this is wild. This is a very, very interesting situation. Gambling in sports has completely taken over. There's a situation in the NBA right now where there's a guy that plays $20,000 on a prop bet twice, and he was in the game. So the NBA has some gambling issues going on, and we saw that the NBA is also partnering with FanDuel and DraftKings. The gambling situation, like Ohtani's deal is one thing, right? His interpreter gambled. He's saying he doesn't gamble. He hates it, doesn't even know about the gambling, was shocked, which now you can kind of see that in the video. He had no idea, because there's a video of Ohtani and his interpreter the day or 12 hours prior to all this breaking. They're just joking around in the locker room. So now this all bust out. Ohtani says he didn't know anything. The guy's since been fired. There's an MLB investigation going on and a criminal investigation going on and an investigation for the bookie from 2 years ago from the guy from California. So there's a lot. There's a lot to this story to yet unfold. But as far as Ohtani's concerned, Bob Nightingale, very trusted MLB insider, says the most that's going to happen to Shohei Ohtani is a fine. That's it. Ohtani claimed 100% innocence, says he was quote unquote shocked, and that's pretty much it. We're gonna swipe this under the rug, and it's done. Sorry, Pete. On a personal note, Ohtani said, "I'm very sad and shocked that someone who I have trusted has done this." Now, did this guy just take the fall? There's going to be conspiracy theorists. There's going to be all kinds of stuff that people are going to say, but they're trying to quickly dispose of this. And they probably will. Nobody wants to see Shohei Ohtani out of the MLB. His interpreter is going to take the fall. By the way, his interpreter also lied, and this is what makes his backstory a little bit more believable. His interpreter also lied that he worked for the New York Yankees. I think also the San Francisco Giants. He lied on all sorts of stuff on his resume. This guy's got quite the history. So it's turning out that the Ohtani story maybe is just his interpreter, gambling, and this private bookie in LA letting him run a huge tab as interpreter, signing checks. How Ohtani didn't see the money gone, I don't know. There's an investigation. As soon as more news breaks, we'll obviously try to break it to you as soon as possible. But as far as we're concerned, Ohtani says he had no idea. He hates gambling, and he's shocked. $4.5 million. Wow. How much is he paying his interpreter? That's what I want to know. Is all that money gone too? That guy's got to get a pretty decent salary. And then he stole $4.5 million? How do you steal $4.5 million? Doesn't Ohtani have an accountant? I don't know. Like I said, this is a rabbit hole we could go down for a long, long time. But as far as Ohtani was concerned, he had no idea. So MLB going to try to swipe that under the rug, and that's what it is. Speaking of MLB, 2 days away. Yeah, I'll be at the Astros game tonight where they take on the Space Cowboys in their last spring training game, if you will. Sort of a scrimmage between these the local AAA team and the Houston Astros. Taking the kids over there, trying to get some autographs. Should be a blast. Those of y'all just tuning in, this is Sports with Balls. I'm Jeff Michael. Podcast version will be up directly after this. Probably not going to have too long of a show today. The football's not here. We go over the rules real quick. I'm not diving too deep into this stuff. It is what it is for right now. And until the draft gets here, we'll have plenty of time to go over this stuff. So you know how this show goes. We're hitting it. We're getting on. That's it. NCAA men's Sweet 16 and the women's Sweet 16 are here. Did you win any money? Did you guys gamble? There's a ton of chalk bets. And I actually did. I came out even. So far, which is great for me. And I'm not a huge gambler, but I came out even so far. But the Sweet 16 lineup like this on Thursday, Clemson will take on Arizona. That's a 6-2. San Diego State will take on the number 1 seed and overwhelming favorite, UConn. San Diego State's a 5. That is your long shot, I believe. The 5 seed versus a 1 seed is San Diego State, UConn. Alabama will take on number 1 North Carolina. And then Illinois and Iowa State, who I absolutely love, will play the late game on Thursday. Friday's matchups. NC State, number 11. That's your high seed. NC State, number 11, taking on number 2 Marquette. Gonzaga, number 1 Purdue. Duke and Houston, which will probably be your premier game coming up, and they've put it on the time slot as well. It's 8:39 p.m. on CBS. That's going to be a massive game on Friday night. And then closing out the Sweet 16 for the men's, Creighton, number 3 Creighton at number 2 Tennessee. But everybody looking forward to that Duke and Houston game, including myself. And, of course, we'll be over at Christian's Tailgate for that. Cannot wait. The women's is set up as well. Iowa got a nice little scare last night from West Virginia. But Caitlin Clark in her last home game in Iowa breaks another record, the all-time scoring record. Let's see. And they win 64-54. And on Thursday, your Sweet 16 matchup for the women's, Friday, your Sweet 16 matchup for the women's is Oregon State, number 3 Oregon State at number 2 Notre Dame. Indiana, number 4 Indiana at number 1, the overwhelming favorite to cap this off, South Carolina, 34-0, going for a perfect season. That's going to be fun to watch. NC State, Stanford, Gonzaga, and Texas at 9 p.m. to round that off. And then Saturday, you're going to get Iowa. I'm pretty sure they have them lined up, but LSU and UCLA will take it off at noon on Saturday. This is on the women's bracket. And then number 5, Colorado and Iowa will do a rematch of what they did last year. That's going to be a great game. Baylor, number 5 versus number 1 USC, and Duke and UConn go at it at 7 p.m. So Duke's in it. UConn's in it. Let's see. I'm talking about men's and women's. Should be a fun weekend, as always. And then we'll have the Final Four set after this weekend. Going to be an absolute blast. What else we got going in the world of sports, man? Let's see. NBA eyes wrapped. Oh, here's this thing about Jonte Porter for betting issues. He's under investigation by the NBA for following multiple instances of betting irregularities over the past several months, multiple sources told ESPN. In a game on the January 26th against the Clippers, there was increased betting interest on the under for Porter props. All right, guys, he's playing in this game, which for the night were set at about 5.5 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 1.5 assists. There was also an over-under for Porter's made three-pointers, which was at 0.5. That evening, Porter played just 4 minutes before leaving the game because of what Raptors said was an aggravation of an eye injury he had suffered days earlier. So this is saying that he bet on himself on the under and then pulled himself out of the game. Woo! The next day, as a part of a daily report to users on betting results, DraftKings Sportsbook stated that the under on Porter's threes was the biggest money winner for bettors of any NBA props from a game that evening. You're in deep shit. Like, that is not okay. Porter played 19 minutes 2 days later and scored 12.7 rebounds, 3 assists. And then on March 20th, so this is a second instance, March 20th against the Sacramento Kings, Porter played just 3 minutes before exiting of what the rapper said was an illness, and he did not return. Sportsbooks had his over-under set at 7.5 points and 5.5 rebounds. And then again the next day, DraftKings reported that Porter's prop bets were the number one in the NBA. Bro, you're an idiot. Both games, your prop bets were the largest in the NBA, and that on DraftKings. Both games, you pull yourself out, and you wonder why you're under investigation by the NBA. Holy crap. So typically, the NBA player props vary from $1,000 to $2,000. Those 2 nights, they were around $20,000 for his prop bets. Absolute moron, dude. He will be banned from the NBA if he finds out, or if they find out something like this. This is absolutely ridiculous. And I agree, he should be banned. If you're betting on yourself and then pulling yourself from games for the under, you're an idiot. And I don't know why your NBA money isn't covering your bills, or why you feel the need that you have to gamble in order to get more stuff straight. I have no idea, but Deontay Porter is in deep shit by the NBA. I mean, deep. Both games he bet on himself. Both games he bet the under. And both games he pulled himself out of the game for injury. Gambling, look, we all know gambling is becoming one of the biggest parts of all sports. All sports. I mean, it is huge. And now we've got 2 massive stories, the Shohei Ohtani story and this Deontay Porter story for the NBA. And the NBA is in bed now with FanDuel and DraftKings about to make live betting on their site. On the unlimited, on cable. Like, this is freakishly scary as far as if you like competitive sports and don't want gambling to take over, because I'm sorry, it is 100%, dominating headlines these days. They need to find, I don't know if all the commissioners, MLB, NBA, hockey, even soccer, NFL, they all need to get together and figure this out. How do you guys come up with this? Because you do not want this to turn into wrestling. But gambling, the money that's involved in this is billions and billions and billions of dollars. I think last year was $24 billion, over $24 billion, just in the NFL. I mean, if you take all the sports, you're looking at probably $100 billion a year in gambling on sports. That is absolutely insane amount of money. Insane. That's oil money. That's crazy. So they've got to do something quick here. The NBA has a major problem. Now baseball's got a major problem. The NFL, we've seen over the past couple of years that players have been suspended for a year. We've seen gambling in the NFL. We know it happens. It's going to happen again. So you've got 3 of the major sports, baseball, basketball, and football, all players in trouble for gambling. You got to do something. Got to figure this out. I do not want to see my sports turn into the WWE. Now, granted, when I was a kid, I loved the WWE, but I'm not gambling on it. It was fun to watch. It was entertaining, but I'm not betting my money on it. I'm hoping we don't find, and you've got the NIL with the NCAA. There's just a lot of things going on with money-wise, and it's just, you got to get a hold of this. You have to. You have to. I don't know how they do it, but they've got to do it. All right, let's see what's happened on today's events in sports history. I'm going to stay out of the 1800s. 1937, Joe DiMaggio takes Ty Cobb's advice and replaces his 40-ounce 36-ounce one. Sorry about that, guys. NIT championship. DePaul wins. Where we get? Kansas beat in 1952. Kansas beat St. John's 80-63. First tournament to have a true Final Four format. That's in 1952. Wow. Where are we at? 1973. NCAA men's basketball champion UCLA beats my Memphis Tigers for the 7th straight title. Future Hall of Famer Bill Walton is the tournament MVP. 1974, George Foreman TKO's Ken Norton in the second round for the WBA, WBC, and the ring heavyweight boxing titles in Venezuela. That was going down. 1979, 41st NCAA basketball championship. This is big because why? Michigan State beats Indiana State, marks start of rivalry between future Hall of Famers Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, highest rated game in history of televised college basketball. That was awesome. That was awesome to sit there and read about. I've watched tape of that. Phenomenal to watch Magic Johnson, Larry Bird go at it. And then, of course, they go to their respective teams in the NBA and still go at it. Mike Tyson sentenced to 10 years in rape of Desiree Washington in 1992. Absolutely insane run from the heavyweight champion to a fall of 10 years in prison for rape of a woman, and now is fighting Jake Paul. My good, what a life. That guy's book is unbelievable. Unreal. That's probably the biggest thing. Here we go. 2001 PGA Players Championship, TPC at Sawgrass. Tiger Woods wins his first of 2 PCs, 1 stroke ahead of Vijay Singh. And that'll about do it for all of today in sports history. Look, guys, if you missed anything, go to Sports with Balls on your podcast arenas. The whole show will be up there. I told you we're going to blow through this. I'm not going to dive too deep into too much of these subjects. The gambling thing was the biggest one, but we covered Ohtani at the top of the show. We covered a few things, the NCAA tournament. You guys go back, listen to the podcast. I'm Jeff Michael. We got to thank a couple of people before we get out of here. Chris's Tailgate, obviously, you guys know, tournament will be there. Chris'sTailgate.com. Starts Thursday night. Huge games this weekend. Cannot wait. So go to Chris'sTailgate.com. Find one near you. Diamond Auto Spa, 346-319-5961. Call Austin Bauer over there. Go to Diamond Auto HTX on social media. Find it and go get your car detailed. And also Modern Home Improvement and Remodeling, 281-949-8925. Go check them out. Josh Smith over there. Give him a shout. Again, you missed anything? Sports with Balls, all podcast arenas. I'm going to post it right after I'm done. I'm Jeff Michael. We'll see you tomorrow.